Hello everyone and welcome to the pond. My name is Frank, aka Bullfrog TCG, and today we are taking a look at Teemo. Now Teemo is one of those champions that I hated playing against in Legends of Runeterra, for those of you who played that game. But in Riftbound I think he has a really interesting ability and also a really funny and fun playstyle. So today we're taking a look at him. But before we get that far, if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more from me, then I would really appreciate it if you would just take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and I will be forever grateful. But okay, without further ado, let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, let's take a look at Teemo. So, Teemo Swift Scout, you may pay 1 to hide a card with hidden instead of recycling one. Now this is kind of the thing that makes the deck tech, because this allows you to be really resource efficient. Because you don't have to pay any other recycle costs for your hidden cards. I mean, you can, of course, if you're tapped out, if you don't have any runes active, you can still recycle if you want to. But the fact that you can just do this without, like putting yourself behind on runes is really good. And also, it has another ability, which is 1 exhaust. Put a Teemo unit you own into your hand from your champion zone or the board. So what this allows you to do is to kind of use your Teemo cards that are both of the Teemo cards we have currently are hidden cards, so you can use the effects to hide them, and then just use the legend to put them back into your hand and then potentially hide them again. So yeah, it's just really funny card. But okay, so since we are playing this deck, we have to play a critical mass of hidden cards, and the most important card, of course, is the Teemo Strategist. So he is a 2 energy, 1 power, 1 mind power unit, and he is 2 might, and he says, when I defend or I'm played from hidden, reveal the top 5 cards of your main deck, deal 1 to an enemy unit here for each card with hidden, then recycle them. So this card is, I just learned today, is gonna get an errata, so it's just gonna say, when I defend, reveal the top 5 cards of your main deck, which is basically the same thing, because when he's played, he's also defending. So those two kind of go together. So, but yeah, so it's going to say, when I defend or I'm played from hidden, reveal the top 5. So this is kind of what your whole deck is revolving around. It is looking at the top 5 cards and then finding hidden cards. And one of the most important pieces to this whole strategy is Nocturne. Because Nocturne says, when you look at cards from the top of your deck and don't draw them and see me, you may play me for 1 recycle. And if you play a Teemo, or you defend with Teemo and you look at the top 5 and you find 3 Nocturnes, you can play all 3 of them. So that allows for a huge tempo swing. And also, like, if you find hidden cards, you're just gonna like ping stuff off the table, which is also really good. So okay, so we're playing the Teemo as our champion. We're also, of course, playing 2 more on the deck, but we're also playing the other Teemo, and he is Teemo Scout. He is 2 energy, 1 might, and he says, when you play me, give me +3 this turn. So this is kind of your, I guess, your main target for the legend ability, because the other Teemo, you can like keep getting his effect again and again and again, but the Teemo Scout just gets his effect once, is when he's played. So this is kind of your ideal target for just play it out. It survives because it grows, and then when it's just a 1 might unit, you can just bounce it back to your hand and then hide it again for the ability to be used next turn. So yeah, just a really funny card. But at this time I'm only playing 2, because the thing is, you need, as I said, you need to have a critical mass of hidden cards, and we don't really have that many hidden cards now in Mind Chaos. So this deck is just going to get more powerful and more interesting the more cards that are printed, but for now we kind of have to stick with the choices that might not be super optimal. But I think Teemo Scout is still Teemo Scout is still a pretty good card. So I'm running him as a 2-of. Then the next one, we are running Blast Cone Fae. It is a 2 energy, 1 power, and 2 might unit that says, when you play me, give a unit -2 this turn to a minimum of 1. So this again is just like a combat trick. It develops 2 power of your own, or 2 might of your own, and then it also minuses 2 might on your opponent's side. So just a really cheap but efficient little card. And then we also play Tide Turner. Now Tide Turner is an insane card because it allows you to do so much. Now you can play this from hidden, and then let's say you have like a giant unit on the base that you just play this turn. You can use the Tide Turner and then just swap places. So the big unit comes to the battlefield and the Tide Turner goes to the base. Because he says, when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit. move me to its location and it to my original location. So you can do that while you're hidden, but you can also, if you have a big unit at a battlefield and you would really like to attack the other battlefield, you can just play this out into your base and swap places. And the big unit on the battlefield comes to your base and he's ready because he hasn't moved yet with like his regular move. So he can just move up to attack the other battlefield. So that's also a really fun play you can do with this card. So this one is also really, really powerful. Next one is Ember Monk. 4 energy and 4 might. When you play a card from hidden, give me +2 this turn. Just a bread and butter synergy card for hidden synergies. Nothing more to say about that. Just a really solid card in this deck. Of course, Nocturne. And then we also play 3 Sprite Mother. She is a 4 energy, 1 power unit that has 3 might and says when you play me, play a ready 3 power sprite unit. 3 might sprite unit token with temporary here. So temporary means that the unit is gonna die before you hold. So it just said kill it at the start of its controller's beginning phase before scoring. So, but this deck kind of wants to get on the board as quickly as possible and conquer as quickly as possible to be able to hide cards as quickly as possible. And this card allows you to do that. So it allows you to play it out and then conquer a point. And the next turn you can use the Sprite Mother itself to conquer again. And there is a battlefield that we're running that really synergizes nicely with this card as well that I'm going to get to. But yeah, so we're running 3 of that. Really solid card. Really solid like early tempo card. And then for our big cards, we are playing 3 Riptide Rex and 3 Thousand-Tailed Watcher. Riptide, just a really, really solid card. It allows you to develop 6 might of your own while also potentially taking away up to 6 might from your opponent. Just a really big swing card. Really good. Really good. And then, of course, Thousand-Tailed Watcher. Now, this is like the big swing card in blue. It says it has Accelerate, and it says when you play me, give enemy units -3 this turn to a minimum of 1. So it just minuses your opponent's whole board down to 3. And it's not only on one battlefield, it's both battlefields and the base. And you can do a lot of stuff with that. So this is kind of like if you're a bit behind, you play this card, and suddenly you're ahead again. So yeah, we have to play this as 3 of. And then, of course, we play the other Teemos. We are playing a full set of this. This is just too good not to. And then we're playing 3 Steady Deckhand. And the Steady Deckhand is kind of fulfills the same purpose as the Sprite Mother, in that it gets early points really efficiently. And it also conquers battlefields really early and efficiently. So yeah, just a really solid card. And then for the spells, we are playing 3 Stack Deck. It says look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 into your hand, and recycle the rest. So again, huge synergy with Nocturne. I mean, this is a Teemo deck, but it's also a Nocturne deck, right? Because a lot of the cards in the deck like synergize around this one. But also it just allows you to kind of dig for the pieces you want, dig for the pieces you're missing for the next turn and stuff like that. Just really solid. Guerrilla Warfare, we're playing 2 of this. Return up to 2 cards with hidden from your trash to your hand. You can hide ignoring costs this turn. So usually a lot of people don't know about the second effect of this card. You can hide ignoring costs this turn, so you can hide for free, which is not bad at all. And it also just allows you to recycle your hidden cards, because I mean the Teemo cards you can always like if they're at the battlefield you can just keep getting them back to your hand. But all the other cards like the Blastgun Fae and the Tide Turner and all the others, you can't get those back. So this just allows you to recycle your cards and kind of be a bit more effective with them. And then we play 3 Consult the Past. It's a hidden card. We want hidden cards. It's also a good one because it just draws you 2 cards. Just a really solid card. Nothing more to say about that. 2 Fight or Flight. Move a unit from a battlefield to its base. It's also a hidden card, so it synergizes with the Teemo. And excuse me. And it's just a really solid card in showdowns. Because when you're attacked, like a lot of our units are not that big. Like the Teemos and the Tide Turners and the Faes and the other Teemo is not that big. We are of course playing the Ember Monk that can grow a bit big, and the Watcher and the Riptide Rex that are big but they're also a bit expensive. And this just allows you to just remove a threat easily. But it also allows you to kind of do the same thing that I talked about with the Tide Turner, where if you want to attack the other battlefield, you can use this to move one of your units from a battlefield to the base and then just attack the other battlefield with it. So it is kind of you can also use this to kind of sneak wins out of nowhere, which is kind of nice. And then we're playing 2 Smokescreen. This is just a really solid blue card. 2 energy, 2 energy, and 1 power to just give a unit -4 this turn. So it's kind of double value because you're minusing your opponent's units like health, so the amount of damage we have to deal to it, and it also minuses the amount of damage that it's gonna deal to us. So it just does double duty in that way. And then for the battlefields. Now I talked about one battlefield that synergized really well with Sprite Mother, and that is the Candlelit Sanctum. And it says, when you conquer here, look at the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may recycle one or both of them. Put those you don't back in any order. So again, this is a card that synergizes with Nocturne. But as you can see, it says only on Conquer. And what's really nice about the Sprite Mother is that it plays a sprite that conquers, and then that sprite is gonna die before you get the holding effect. So then you can reconquer it with the Sprite Mother. So you kind of get this effect off twice. Because a lot of the things you want to do with Teemo is you kind of want to hold on to one battlefield, like get ahead early and then just hold on to that one. But you also like to get this effect off to dig for your Nocturnes and dig for your other cards, you know. And this card just allows you to do that really efficiently. And then we play Bandle Tree. This is kind of the battlefield that was made for Teemo because it says you may hide an additional card here. Obviously just a really good ability with this deck because we are playing so many hidden cards and we kind of want to get those effects off as often as possible. And just being able to hide 2 at one battlefield is just really good. Because as I said, we don't really have that much power spread out among our cards. So we kind of want to hold on to one battlefield as much as we can. And this one is the best one to do that at. And then for our final battlefield, we are playing Fortified Position. It says when you defend here, choose a unit. It gains shield 2 this combat. I just play this for the decks that have like really big units. Because as I said, a lot of our units are not that big. So just getting an extra 2 defense while we're the defenders is just really solid. And then we're just running an 8-4 split of the runes. The only card that we play in the deck that requires the Chaos Rune is the Nocturne, and we ideally want to play that off its effect, so not having to actually recycle the Chaos Rune, because with the effect you could just recycle anything. But I do still play 4 just because in case I draw a Nocturne early and I want to play him like on turn 2, then I can still somewhat reliably do that. So that's why I have this at 4. So yeah, this deck is really fun. It's an easy deck to understand, but there are also like really a lot of small decisions that could be really pivotal also in the deck. So it's and it's also one of those deck similar to what I said about the beta Took deck is just a deck that's going to get more interesting, more fun, and more cool to play as more cards are revealed. As we get more hidden cards, this deck is just going to grow and get better. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to come of this, but for now this is a really fun build of the deck, and I think this is kind of where he wants to be. So yeah, let's hop into some games, and then I'll see you at the end for the wrap-up. Okay, let's get into our first game here against Volibear. Now Volibear is a pretty tough matchup because he has a lot of really big units, and our units for the most part are pretty small, and that is also why I decided to go for the Fortified Position battlefield, just because it gives us 2 extra might on defense, which is pretty good against this deck, I would say. Okay, so we start off with a Sprite Mother. Sprite Mother is just a really solid card. Attacks, lets us get a point right away, and then is ready to get a point on the following turn as well. So yeah, just really solid card, I think. Now we are on the obelisks, which actually turned out to be good for us, because then we could play the Sprite Mother on turn 1. But it also allowed him to play potentially something big here. Play a mighty unit right away. Okay, decides to play Darius, so he's playing kind of a different version of Volibear, I guess. Okay, so the Sprite dies before it can hold, but you know, it's fine, we have the Sprite Mother, so we just reconquer again. Then we play the stack deck, of course hoping to see a Nocturne here. We don't, but we do get the Sneaky Deckhand, and Sneaky Deckhand also it's kind of similar to Sprite Mother. It just in the way that it just allows you to get quick easy points, and then allows you to hide cards right away. I mean the Sprite is a bit more risky to hide cards with, but because the Sprite is gonna disappear on your turn. So if your opponent just decides to do nothing, then the card you hit will just disappear. But the deckhand allows you to hide stuff pretty safely. Okay, so we get a point. We're up to 3 already, which is not bad. On our second turn. And then we debate, because I'm debating hiding Consult the Past and Ride the Wind. Obviously, if he wants to go for, like, attack my position, which is the battlefield we want to hold on to, if he decides to attack that with the Darius, then we could hide the Fight or Flight. But the thing is that the battlefield gives us +2 on defense, so the Sprite Mothers are going to be a 5. And us having a card hidden, my idea is that that's just going to bluff him into attacking the other one. So even though I am bluffing, like, having something, I am just going to risk it and go for the Consult the Past just to get the draw early. So that I can save the Fight or Flight for later. And let's see if the bluff worked. Okay, it's going to channel 1. Get some ramp going, as a Volibear does. And he's just gonna play Misfortune, okay. So let's see what he does with this with his Darius. He's on 7, so he's thinking about it. Okay, decides to play it safe, which is what we wanted, you know? That sneaky deckhand is just there to get some early points, and I mean, potentially also to enable us to hide stuff. But for now, we wanted that fortified position more than the Obelisk of Power. The Obelisk of Power doesn't really matter to us at this point. So that is what we wanted. So our bluff worked. Okay, but now we're on 7 runes. And we decide for just going pretty aggressively, just deciding to deal with this Darius right away. We kind of want to keep his board as clear as possible. And Riptide Rex is just a really solid card. It allows you to develop 6 might of your own and also getting rid of, I mean, up to 6 might from your opponent. So it's just a huge tempo swing. And here too, I'm kind of debating on which card I want to hide, but I decided to go for the Fight or Flight. He is getting really high on runes, and the card that I'm most scared of is the Dead Bloom Predator. So that's why I decided to hide the Fight or Flight this time. So let's see what he decides to do. Okay, he is thinking pretty hard here. He might have the Aurora as well, the Dazzling Aurora. This is just the best of 1, so there's no sideboards included, so I don't have removal for the Aurora. Which is always, like, playing best of 1s kind of gives you a slightly tweaked view of the meta, or view of, like, your matchups, because Dazzling Aurora without sideboards is really good because people usually don't main deck gear removal, but with sideboards you can just remove it, and then the deck loses a lot of steam. But okay, he decides to go for a challenge here from the Misfortune, so he's probably gonna deal with the Sprite Mother. Doesn't make sense to go for the other one. Yeah, the Sprite Mother dies, and he still has 8 left, and it is indeed a Dead Bloom Predator, so that is what we were afraid of. He tries to go for the attack on the Misfortune at the same time, which of course you can't. Even though the Dead Bloom Predator comes in attacking, you can't play a card and attack at the same time. You kind of have to do them one at a time. So okay, he decides to attack here, and I just explained to him that he can't attack with the Misfortune at the same time. And he just decides to, you know, this is a friendly game, so I decided to, you know what, to just take it back. It's okay, we're all still learning, so I mean, the game isn't even out yet, you know? So he decides to, okay, just play Misfortune. I'm kind of curious as to why he didn't play that Accelerated, but I guess he didn't want to attack into my Riptide Rex anyways. Okay, so he gets a point. We get a point for holding, which I'm sure I'm going to remember at some point. Would you play an Ember Monk? Which, yeah, remember the point. Our Monk, of course, does not come in ready, yeah. Slight misplay on my part. And the Fight or Flight just stays. I'm kind of debating just going in and out, but I decide that, you know, the fortified position is really, it's way easier to keep than to conquer, or to keep than to get back. So that's why I just decided to stay here. Even though I do know that he has the Dead Bloom, but I have the Firefly for that. So, and then I also think about, I look at this Tide Turner in my hand, and usually you play it like hidden to like get something into the battlefield. But I just realized that, wait, I can just play this at the base and then just switch places with the Riptide Rex. And that just seems really solid to me. You know? So yeah, I decide to do that. Get rid of the Misfortune, get another point. Now we're already at 6. So that early tempo really like helped us get things going. Like the Volibear player is only 2 points, and he still hasn't found his Aurora. So yeah, I felt really good about that play. I think that was a good play. Not to toot my own horn, I guess, but kind of also to toot my own horn a bit. Okay, let's see what he decides to do here. He has to do something impactful soon, because if not, I'm just gonna run away with this game. Okay, and now he decides to play the Dead Bloom. Okay, so now I'm probably just gonna fire off this Firefly. Yeah. I mean, that's why it's there, to deal with big units. So I had to recycle a rune there to deal with that, because it does have deflect. And a Misfortune comes in as well, so he of course kills that one, which is fine. And then I'm like, yeah, so again, like there was some like corner case plays that you can do, because usually Fight or Flight is used to just move your opponent's unit back to the base when they're attacking you. But in this case, it's like, it's the same with the Tide Turner. Like, I could just move the Crocodile back and then attack the Misfortune, because I already got the point for holding. So if I can just get this last point, because I'm on 7, so if I can just get this last point, then I win. And he only has a Misfortune, and he has 3 runes, so I could potentially have something, but I don't know what. But I decided to just go for it, and the Ember Monk also grows, so I could just go in one at a time. Yeah, so that was actually a misplay by me, because I forgot that the battlefield made the Misfortune grow, so that's why I kind of flung the Riptide Rex in there afterwards. Because I realized, like, wait, no, that doesn't work, because the Misfortune is going to be a 7 might. So yeah, that is something you have to remember. Always read the battlefields, because at least in this case that would have lost me the game, or probably not lost me the game, but at least lost me winning this early. So yeah, we get the last point and we win. Now I have the fortified position, which is not the best against this, but let's see what happens. He is on Void Gate, so he is much better off than I am. But yeah, okay, well, let me just actually do, I'm just gonna do double speed here. Yeah, fart, that's Norwegian for speed. It doesn't say fart, it says fart. So yeah, that's a little Norwegian lesson for you. But okay, he decides to open up with a Vi, and I didn't realize, like, until actually playing a lot against this card, how insane this card is, because it costs 2 for 2 energy, and then it just grows. His ceiling is so high, or her ceiling, I guess, is so high. Okay, we don't really have a good turn 1 play, so we decide to just like get the Teemo in hand. In some games, I would have just played out the Teemo just to get another early point, but since he's playing Kai'Sa, I don't want to risk the Teemo just dying to a random removal spell, so I decided to just do nothing. And he is gonna conquer the position, which is not ideal for us, because that makes it really difficult for us to take it back. But we decide to play the Sprite Mother and just run right into the Void Gate. We can't conquer the fortified position because it's gonna grow with Vi, so we just have to get the points we can. And then we decide to hide the Teemo and pass. And this is also one of those things where it's really risky to hide cards with the Sprite tokens, because if your opponent decides to do nothing, or just play units and not activate any effects, then that means the Sprite is going to die before you get the chance to activate your hidden card. So it is kind of risky, but I decided to go for it here, or decided to risk it here. Because, I mean, if he just wants to pass on his second turn, then that's fine by us, I think. And he does, which, of course, it sucks, but, you know, it's also to be expected. We just decide to go attacking first, I think. Let's see here. Kind of debating what to do. Yeah, I think I'm just talking to my opponent about what the about that sprite sprite hide, I guess. But okay, yeah. So we decided to go just take back the Void Gate, or attempt to at least. He's gonna Void Seeker that. It is to be expected. He is playing Kai'Sa, and Void Seeker is just a really solid removal spell. That also replaces itself. So I'm kind of looking at his hand right now. I'm like, how do you have so many cards in your hand? And he's like, well, I only played a Vi, and the Void Seeker replaced itself. So yeah. But yeah, that is how it is. That is kind of how it is to play against Kai'Sa. Okay, but I did play the Crocodile to just get rid of his Vi just before it grew too much. And the Riftbound Rex is also one of the units that are more difficult to get rid of for him. He does have the Falling Star, which just KOs it right away. But unless he has that, then he has to use 2 cards to deal with it, which we don't mind. Okay, we're gonna go try to get the fortified position, and he might have something to deal with that. He's gonna play Get Excited, and Get Excited is a really good card because it kind of lets you cheat out, or kind of cheat with a power energy cost kind of balance. So he plays the Get Excited for 2, and then he discards the Singularity, which costs 6 to deal 6 to my Riptide Rex. And yeah, that's gone. And then I decide to just play a Sprite Call to quickly conquer again, or at least attempt to get our second point. Play Stack Deck, hope to get a Nocturne. We do not, but we do get a second Stack Deck, which we're probably gonna get. Yep. And then we can fire it off again. Nocturne. No Nocturne. Okay, so that's two Watchers to the bottom, or 1 to our hand actually, and two to the rest to the bottom. Okay, we decided to hide a card there. Again, risking it. This time we are gonna get it because he did conquer with that. So that's important to remember with the hidden cards, is that you don't have you can use them whenever you would be able to use like a reaction card. So if they attack the other battlefield, you can still use the card you hit at the other battlefield, but you just can't target stuff that are outside of it. So yeah, that's also important to remember. So we don't know what else he's gonna do, but since he allowed us to play the card, we're just gonna play it right away. Even though that sets us up to be potentially Falling Star, but I think it's better than just like getting passed on again. At least we're forcing him to have the card. And yeah, the Eager Apprentice is really annoying. Okay, so he has he had the Void Seeker to get rid of the Teemo, and then the Sprite is just gonna take care of itself. So yeah, that's fair enough. Plays a Kai'Sa. He's gonna go attack with that to conquer. He is of course gonna conquer it, but wait, no, he's not actually. Yeah. So like we did in the Volibear game, he did in this game. So he too forgot about the fortified battlefield, not the fortified position, because that's gonna get the Sprite +2, which is gonna make it 1 bigger than Kai'Sa. So he just rammed his Kai'Sa into our Sprite, and the Kai'Sa died, which is pretty sweet. So he was pretty annoyed at that. I was not, obviously, but you know, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some, and we're all here to learn still. Yeah, we're kind of just yapping about the battlefield thing. Kind of like, yeah, we're so stupid not like reading the cards. But okay, so I decided to just go for the Riptide Rex again. I just want to get rid of the Eager Apprentices right away because it's going to discount all of his spells. And I don't really want to have to deal with that, so I'm just going to get rid of it right away. And also I kind of want to try to tempo him out. So I don't want him to get too ahead of me with the points, because he is 1 ahead of me now. Okay, he's going to go play another Vi. And just pass turn. Yeah, and it's always like scary to play against these spell-heavy decks when they pass with just 7 runes up. But you know, I mean, you can't really do much about it, so we're just gonna go attacking, I think. Yeah, attack the fortified position. That is the position we want. So we're trying to get that. He is gonna have another Void Seeker, and again, so now he is forced to play 2 cards, and I'm gonna do the. I'm kind of considering doing the Fight or Flight. Yeah, so I decided not to do the fight or flight first because my thing was that I could have fight or flighted right away to deny him his draw. But by not playing the fight or flight right away, I forced him to play another card. So I guess it kind of didn't matter maybe because he kind of went equal on the cards anyways. Because either he didn't play another one, or he drew the one he played, or he drew for the one he played, I guess. But yeah, I think that play you can kind of go both ways with. You don't know what he has in the hand, and you don't know what he drew. So yeah, but I decided to go for the fight or flight here, just to try to. Oh, I don't actually. Okay, never mind. I'm misremembering this game apparently. Okay, just play the Nocturne. You always hate getting Nocturne in the hand. It just feels so much better when it just. Yeah, I decided to just let the Nocturne go. I don't really want him to draw more cards. So yeah, I decided to just let it go. But yeah, he's kind of getting we are kind of getting out tempoed here. He's gonna get that point. He's gonna get that point. He's going up to 5. We just keep drawing cards that are not really gonna do that much for us. I mean, we do have the Watcher, but I'm only at 7 runes, so I can't play the Watcher and accelerate it. So I'm kind of debating because I don't want to pass this turn either. Like, I want to develop something. So I'm really debating this turn. But I decide to just play it out and hope that it doesn't get removed. So he's gonna get 2 points for holding, so he's at 7, so if he manages to hold only one of these, then he's gonna run away with the game. He decides to play Progress State, draw 4 cards, he's up to, what, 8 cards in his hand with 5 energy open. Yeah, it's not looking good for us, but... And he also plays a Victor, which, yeah, yeah, so this is also the thing, like when you're at this point in the game, when you're on 7, you can kind of just pull everything back, because then you then you have more information when you're trying to go for a game. You usually have more information when you're going to conquer instead of when you're trying to hold, because when you're holding, your opponent is like on full runes and full energy, and they have so many opportunities to things they want to do. But if you try to reconquer again, then your opponent probably played some cards on his turn or her turn, and they probably have less runes in their available. So usually it's a lot safer to just pull back and then just try to reconquer for the final push. That being said, the Watcher is very big, especially on the battlefield, because that is gonna turn into a 9 if he decides to attack there. But yeah, I mean, this game we just got out tempoed so hard, and he plays Darius into Darius, which is just gonna be, 14 damage off of that. So yeah, he just ran away with this one, and yeah, there's not really much we could do. And is that, yeah. And for our final game, we are actually playing a mirror. So we're playing Teemo versus Teemo. So let's, I guess let's let the best Teemo win, the sneakiest Teemo win. We are going first. We don't have much to do on the first turn. We just add the Teemo to our hand. He's gonna play a merchant, a traveling merchant, which we're not playing, but maybe it's worth considering. I don't really like the draw discard effect of the merchant, because I mean, one of the things you want to, one of the most important things you want to do with this deck is you want to activate the Nocturnes, and if you just keep drawing cards all the time instead of just stack decking them, like looking at the top, you run into the risk of you're kind of heightening the risk of just naturally drawing the Nocturne, which is not what you want. So yeah, I'm not sure I like that one in the deck, but okay. I'm all for experimenting and trying out different things, so. Okay, just gonna play that. We are of course leading over the Sprite Mother, getting an early point, getting the battlefield to manage the top cards. We do not see, unfortunately, a Nocturne. You can also see we drew a Nocturne, which is not good. But yeah, we decided to go for a we decided to keep the stack deck on top and just bottom deck the other Sprite Mother, because we have a lot of plays in our hand. We don't really need another one, at least not yet. But the stack deck again is there to look for the Nocturne. He's gonna get a card. He's gonna draw and discard 2. So again, yeah, I think the Zom Barons as well, the battlefield is running, I think that's also not that good in this deck, because again it just heightens the risk of you not drawing Nocturne. I mean, we are playing Consult, but I think Consult is just such a good card. Just drawing 2 cards is so good, so I think like running some form of draw in your deck is just good anyways. But too much is just gonna, I don't know, I think it's too risky for my liking at least. Sprite is gonna die. We are gonna conquer again with the Mother, of course, get the effect off again. So that's also like a nice little synergy with this deck, or with the Sprite Mother, is that the battlefield right now, the Sanctum, it's only on Conquer, so if you hold it, you're not going to get the effect off again. So Sprite Mother effectively lets you get the battlefield effect twice, because at first with the Sprite Conquer, the Sprite dies, and then you conquer with the Sprite Mother again. So yeah, that's also like a neat little synergy. Okay, we play the stack deck, look at the top 3. Let's hope to get a Nocturne. We don't, we just had to go for the Smokescreen. Smokescreen is just really good to just deal with big attackers, so it's nice to just have that available if it's to come up. We play the Ember Monk, just a really solid card on the deck, kind of like bread and butter synergy with the Teemo deck, the hidden cards. We hide the Teemo, and he's deciding what to do here. He's debating what to do. Yeah, we're kind of playing it differently. Like he hides on the battlefield, I hide, or he hides on like the next to the card, I hide next to the battlefield. But he's gonna play his other Sprite Mother. Again, he played it a bit wrong. Yeah, Sprite Mother to the base and Sprite to the battlefield. Yeah, there we go. And we are probably just we're not using microphones this game, so that's why some of the communication just goes a bit less smoothly when you're not using the microphone. So he just like kills his Sprite before anything even happens. But I was like, no, I want to use my hidden card first. So just bring it back, please. He brings it back. Then I use the Teemo. Or at least I want to use the Teemo. We're probably just typing here. Yeah, that's also one of the things. Like I like playing TCG Arena and Tabletop Simulator. It's so much smoother to play with a microphone, because then you don't have to deal with all this like this. We are writing and writing and typing and typing. Okay, so he decides that he has no response. And now we decide to go for the Teemo. We don't get a Nocturne again, we don't get a Nocturne. But we do get 3 hidden cards, which allows us to just ping off the Sprite before he even gets to kill one of our things, which is really nice. So that's like kind of the ideal hit there. Of course, it would be nice if the other 2 cards were a Nocturne. He, again, a bit of miscommunication, he brings the Sprite card back. But the Sprite will despair, there it goes. So yeah. I mean, for sure, with the Teemo deck, there is an element of luck, because you're kind of looking at the top 5 and hoping to find hidden cards all the time. But it's really fun to play. Man, it's a fun deck. Okay, so far, so good. He decides to play a Ravenbloom Student. Moves back with the Traveler. Draw discard and draw again. Yeah, I'm not playing Ravenbloom Student in my deck. I just feel like I don't play enough spells for it to be that good, because most of our hidden cards are units. So yeah, I'm not sure I like Ravenbloom Student. Like I want to have like a critical mass of spells to like consistently being able to trigger the Ravenbloom ability. Okay, so I decide to just go for the Crocodile or the Riptide Rex. If I'm lucky, the card on the in this battlefield is something that can't be used now, so you're just going to lose it, but we'll see. In any case, it is safe for us to do this, because whatever the card is, you can't target the other battlefield with it. So if it is, let's say, a Fight or Flight, for example, then it's not going to be able to do anything with it. It is a Teemo. Okay, so he's going to keep the battlefield, but at least we got rid of the Ravenbloom Student, which is not bad. Just like building up our own board while tipping away at theirs is exactly where we want to be. And as you can see, we're on 3 points, he has 2 points, so we can just keep building on this one battlefield. Because we will win this race if this is like what keeps on happening. But let's see, he is on quite a bit of energy, or quite a bit of runes, so... Okay, decides to hide a card, so that means we're out of range of the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, which is nice. He plays his own Riptide Rex to get rid of ours. Okay, yeah, I mean... it is to be expected, right? Riptide is a really good card, and, you know, the second to play the Riptide Rex usually gets more value than the first one who plays it. And that was true this time too, so it is what it is. We still have quite a big battlefield there, so he just has to move back with the Traveling Merchant to draw and discard. He uses the Teemo ability, the legend ability, to bounce his Teemo back in the hand, so that he can potentially hide it again, or he can hide something else. There's also a bit of mind games going on, you know, because your opponent sees that you bounce the Teemo back to your hand, but then you could potentially hide something else to kind of, you know, mess with your opponent a bit. He decides to hide nothing. Okay. I mean, he does already have a hidden card there, so I might have actually liked to see him move with the merchant first, and then bounce the Teemo back, and then hide a card, just to give your opponent as little information as possible. Because now I know that he, like, one of the cards in his hand is the Teemo that he bounced. So yeah, just a little place like that could matter at some point. Little like tiny little edges. I'm just gonna hide another Teemo and get a point. And yeah, we are on equal points, but as I said, I'm ahead, so if we get as far as 7 points, I am gonna get to 8 before him. And okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. So this is the swing card of blue. The swing card of blue. Giving everything -3 with and he has like a Riptide Rex and a Sprite Mother and the Watcher, so that's a lot of might coming our way now. So this is just the big, like, play this card, just flip the game on his head and kind of try to get it back again. So he's going all in here. Or he should go all in here. Let's see what he decides to do. I mean, one of the reasons he could be doing this is to try to get rid of one of our Teemos. So I have a bit, so I don't have as much like a randomness going on when the big guys hit the battlefield. But let's see if he decides to just stick with this. Okay, he decides to stick with that. We roll, we get 1 hidden card, so not the best one. So we're just gonna deal 1 damage to the Sprite Mother, so he is gonna use the effect as he wanted to. But we are going to play the second Teemo, and let's see what this gets. And of course the Ember Monk grows as well, so that's gonna become a... yeah, so he's a 3, so I just gave him like he has a 3 power, or a 3 might, just because he did get -3 from the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, so he was a 1, and then now he's a 3 because he got a boost from his own effect. Okay, Matt is the top 5. Again, we're not gonna get that much, we're gonna get some hidden cards though, so we are able to deal with the Sprite Mother, which is nice. So we are gonna have full rolls when the big guys come in. Okay, so now it happens. So now it's just up to the Teemo. Please find our final Nocturnes, find some hidden cards, and we are gonna get a double Nocturne off that one. Now that is what I'm talking about. That is Teemo. Just minus in 2 cards. Yeah, this is where it's at. Just dealing 1 damage to the Riptide Rex, I think, playing out the Nocturnes. Again, the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, remember that was played in the beginning, and the Nocturnes came in afterwards. So those don't have -3, so that's just an additional 8 might I've added to this battlefield. We decide to use the other one, and we get 3 hidden cards. So we're gonna deal 3 more damage. So that's 4 total damage we've dealt, plus developed 8 might of our own. So this attack, even though it was his swing turn with his Thousand-Tailed Watcher, it might look like we're actually gonna win this. And then we also have, as a final play, we have the smoke screen to give something -4. And the thing about smokescreen is that it, of course, it lowers the like health of your opponent, but it also lowers their might. So it not only allows us to deal more damage, or like allows us to not have to deal as much damage, but it also makes it so that your opponent deals less damage, which is very good. And after some quick maths here, my opponent is still considering. I mean, there's not really something to consider, at least not in terms of reactions, but he is considering what he wants to take out here, because my board is pretty stacked. Oops. But yeah, I mean that double Nocturne roll off the Teemo is exactly what this deck wants to do. Nocturne is just such a good card if you get it for free off the Teemo, and it's or like a stack deck or the battlefield. But it feels so bad to draw it, and that's why I don't really like to include cards like Traveler Merchant, because it just lowers the chance of you getting the Nocturne off an effect, and it heightens the chance of you just drawing him. And as of now, there are not any ways to put cards back on top of the deck from your hand. I assume that's gonna come in future sets, but for now it's like once you draw him, he's gonna stay there until you play him out. Yeah, we're kind of debating now, kind of messaging back and forth again. If you have a headset, use a headset. It makes it so much easier. Okay, we can probably fast forward a bit here. Let's do 30 seconds plus. Okay, it decides to go for those three. Goes to the Ember Monk, the Teemo, and the Teemo. Okay. So we actually managed to hold that battlefield against his Riptide Rex, his Thousand-Tailed Watcher, and that just shows I guess the strength and also the RNG potential of Teemo. Like those Teemos could have rolled just duds. It could have been no damage of all of them. But in this case, we managed to deal 4 damage and develop 8 might of our own, which is an 11-point swing, which is pretty significant. So yeah, we're gonna hold that. He just has a Traveling Merchant. He doesn't really have a board anymore. But that turn costed us, because we had to recycle a power for the Smokescreen, and we had to recycle 1 power each for the Nocturne, so we had to recycle 3. So we're only down to 5 energy now, or 5 runes now. So we kind of have to use our cards wisely here, so as not to get blown out. But I decided to just swing over with the Nocturnes. That's also a strength of the Nocturne, is that it has ganking. So usually on these like kind of effects where you can cheat out cards like this, like cheat out cheap cards, they usually don't have an effect to come with it. But the Nocturne has ganking, which just allows us to swing right over to the other battlefield, which is not bad at all. So we just had to go over. Apparently he only has to consult the past, so his Traveling Merchant is not going to be able to do anything really. And here we get the Zombarons effect off, which I mean, I'm not sure I love, but I mean at this point all our Nocturnes are gone, like the two of our Nocturnes are on the battlefield and the third one is in the hand, so now it's like, okay, I probably don't need 2 of these Guerrilla Warfares, so let's see if we can get something better. And Consult is something better. Yeah, I mean, usually you don't want to hard cast Consult the Past, but like in this case, I have both battlefields. He doesn't have anything on board. He's already played 1 Watcher. His options are limited, so I'm just gonna go for the Consult the Past here. To get some more cards, potentially something better to hide, we get our second Watcher, so we are pretty safe in the going into late game now. And I mean, if he can't do anything about this board, we're just gonna win because we are at 6 points. Yeah, and at this point, also, like, I could have... It was probably correct for me just to pull the Sprite on their back and instead hide the Fae at the other battlefield. Because then I could have... Because the Sprite Mother is really easy to deal with now, and I don't really have anything... I have the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, but I'm only on 7 runes, so I can't attack with that accelerated next turn, if it were to come to that. So I think just to play it super safe, I could have just pulled the Sprite Mother back, and then depending on what he did next turn, I could have just reconquered it. Or I could have also just swung over with the Nocturnes, you know? Yeah, so there are like a few options here, but I think the safest play would be to just pull back the Sprite Mother. Okay, so he's gonna get a Rebuke. So he's gonna get to remove that. But of course the Sprite Mother has the Sprite that comes in ready. So yeah, okay, so that's just gonna be the game. Yeah, I mean, it really showcases the high roll potential of Teemo. But there are also a lot of mind games going on, and there are a lot of like important decisions you have to make. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Teemo is just a really fun deck. I really recommend it. And that is Teemo. This deck is so much fun to play. And you can really see like the high roll potential of this deck. Like the turn we rolled, like we used the Teemo effect to get 2 Nocturnes in 1 turn. It's such a huge swing. But also you kind of see like the games where you don't get that, where you kind of low roll on the Teemo effects and you draw all the Nocturnes. The deck really loses a lot of power. But I'm really excited to see where this deck is going to go. Today we had around a 50-50 win rate. The Kai'Sa match, we did win 1 game and we lost the other 2, so we went 1 and 2. And the game we won, we just that was the game we had the Bandle City in, or the Bandle Tree, I mean. Because that just allows you to they have to be so, like, it makes the removal spell so weird, because you just keep getting hidden cards out of the battlefield. So it just allows you to kind of hold the battlefield really efficiently. But yeah, I mean, this deck is really fun. I highly recommend playing it out. I mean, I've seen some people, seen people not playing the Smokescreen. I just think it's a really solid cards. I've seen some people not playing the Sprite Mothers. I think this is also a really good card combined with the Sneaky Deckhand, or kind of like filling the same slot as the Sneaky Deckhand. As in, it just gets you early points, because you want to be out on the battlefield and conquering as early as possible with this deck. And I think Sprite Mother is just a really efficient card in the way it does that. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more from me, and you like this video, then I please ask you to subscribe and like, and just comment something in the comment section, and also join our Discord. We are currently 2 people, so there is always room for more. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.